Hello everyone, my name is Dan Paulson. I hope you enjoy the recent posting of the 4 agreements. If you want to download that, do it. I don't know if it's okay for me to post that book in full like that. What I did is I recorded it in full because what I want to do is interact with it, pieces of it, and just kind of do a discussion, not really a book report, but a discussion on the points that he's making. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the universal nature of it. I'm going to sample something that he's written in the book, and I'm going to compare that with something that's 5,000 years old to show you what he's talking about, the universal nature of it. What I do want to emphasize is that everybody should buy this. It's like $7 or $8 at Amazon. Do make purchases. Help the author. Thank him. Post a comment below thanking Don Miguel Ruiz. My point here is I have a non-monetized channel. I have no interest in anything here except helping the author and helping other people try to understand it, including myself. I struggle. I'm on this path. I fail a lot. So let's get into it. Okay, let's listen to this short clip from the introduction. Listen carefully to this part. Though it remained veiled in secrecy for hundreds of years, ancient prophecies foretold the coming of an age when it would be necessary to return the wisdom to the people. Now, Don Miguel Ruiz, a Nagual from the Eagle Knight lineage, has been guided to share with us the powerful teachings of the Toltec. Toltec knowledge arises from the same essential unity of truth as all the sacred esoteric traditions found around the world. Though it is not a religion, it honors all the spiritual masters who have taught on the earth. While it does embrace spirit, it is most accurately described as a way of life, distinguished by the ready accessibility of happiness and love. Esoteric knowledge, shared globally. It honors all the masters. It's a way of life. I want to take a look at something in this video that shows that. There are parts of this teaching from culture to culture that easily align. They sound the same. But because of the way they're using it in their time and their place in a storytelling culture, they quickly sound very different from each other. They're very hidden. They're cryptic. It's esoteric knowledge. And he's sharing that knowledge with us. So let's go ahead and I want to make a comparison between something that he's going to say right here. I'll play it first in, it's in the introduction of the 4 agreements, and then I'm going to play something, or then I'm going to read something from the Enuma Elish about 5,000 years previous to that. And I want to make a correction. The first example was from the introduction. This example is from chapter 1.
The domestication is so strong that at a certain point in our lives, we no longer need anyone to domesticate us. We don't need mom or dad or school or church to domesticate us. In fact, we are so well trained that we are now our own domesticator. We are an auto-domesticated animal. We can now domesticate ourselves according to the same belief system we were given and using the same system of punishment and reward. We punish ourselves when we don't follow the rules according to our belief system, and we reward ourselves when we are the good boy or the good girl. The belief system is like a book of law that rules our mind. Without question, whatever is in that book of law is our truth. We base all of our judgments according to the book of law, even if those judgments go against our own inner nature. Even moral laws like the 10 Commandments are programmed into our mind in the process of domestication.
Okay, the term here that I'm going to emphasize is book of law. And what book of law is, of course, it builds up to this, and what it basically boils down to is the book of law is the framework of your existence. It's what is your primary belief structure and all of everything that you have maintained in your memories up in here that you operate through. The way that you function is based on what you have agreed to in life. That what he's calling agreements are judgments, are the things that we've classified. They're things that we've looked at in life and given it an emotional content along with the storage of the memory itself. So now we have the memory and we have the emotion to it. And that is what is happening. Once those happen and we give into it, we just become that. We become products of that. That is the book of law. We've been given that. We've been given a book of law that from outside. We become products of what we have been handed. Then we live life that way until we wake up. Now, emphasis here on everything that we agree to. It's judgments we make, but it's things from outside that people are giving us that we judge. So we have to make sure that we understand that's what's going on, that the book of law comes to us not just from what we judge, but from the outside world and how we judge that world. So as people are telling us things, as they're convincing us of things, when you're a little kid, you're not wired. You're reliant upon information and knowledge. We're going to seek that out. And wherever you come from is what you become. That's it. Those are what we've agreed to. Honestly, there could be times where you're under an influence that you don't become a product of. It just depends on when it's happening, how significantly you say this is bullshit. You might not always become a product of what you've been given. Sometimes you go, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not doing that. I'm not thinking that. I'm not believing that. We don't think we've agreed to them. They're things that we're holding. We agreed to them at one point and we're holding them now as if they are real. But moreover, this book of law is who and what you are. What's your personality? What's your background? What are your likes, your dislikes, all of those things. But they're not the things that we were born with, the qualities that we were born with. They're the qualities that we were conditioned with. That is it. That is our book of life. Now what I want to do is jump to 5,000-year-old, approximately, the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic. Now this starts off, comes from clay tablets, and the way this story works is a little bit different than the kind of teaching in the Four Agreements. In this case, this is a first example of, to me, a real good example of the development of the monomyth. That's not what this video is about, though. So let me just very briefly go over what's going on in case you're not familiar with the Enuma Elish. It's a creation story that precedes Genesis, and you can see similarities between the two. You can see that this was a precursor. The way that the story works, if you were to read it, at a time when even the glories above had yet to be named, and unuttered was the word for the world which lay beneath. It was then, the first being Apsu, who was their source, and the progenitor Tiamat, the mother who gave birth to all, intermingled their waters, producing neither field nor marsh, at a time when no divine beings had yet come into existence. This is pre-us coming into life. This is a story about our birth, the birth of each individual, not about the birth of the world. This story is framed on the template of my existence, flipped outward, and then made a bunch of stories made off of it. What we're doing is taking the elements of the story off and putting it back into the template form here. Tiamat really is the mother who gives birth to all. Tiamat is the person in the story that's going to have to be destroyed. Tiamat represents our early inner self. And you're going to see sequences in here where there's cycles of pain and things like that going on. But there's a point as we get into this where Tiamat is not really the person in charge. Tiamat is the inner self. It is qualities that we have taken on. So there's like an earlier self that we want to destroy eventually. But first, that earlier self is in charge. And look at this right here. And sorry about the brief nature of this. You have to kind of read them all on your own. I'm just trying to show some component parts here. This is at the end of tablet 1.8. This is Tiamat, where it says she up here. She conveyed to him the tablet of fate, clasping it at his chest. What you say will not be altered, and you will speak the law. So after King U had received his rank, been given Anu power, and had pronounced the fates of his sons, the gods, this is all of our inner qualities. And the reason they're gods is because they're going to take over and have power. When they act out, they're gods. You don't have control of them. So they're going to become gods. He said, what comes from out of your lips would obliterate flames. Your potent poison would serve to incapacitate the mighty. Okay, so what we have there is Tablet of Fate. All right, I hope I haven't taken up too much time explaining what all that is, but basically it's who and what we are. So we've got here the Book of Law from the Four Agreements, but it goes all the way back to the Tablet of Fate from the Babylonians. What I did is I jumped around a little bit here. I know that it's all over. I've seen it before, and I couldn't quite remember, but during the video I recalled Ezekiel. What I want to read here, and I'll tell you it's a monomyth. So there's something here called the vision of the scroll. Let's go ahead and read through that. He said to me, O mortal, stand up on your feet, and I will speak with you. This is the higher awareness. You're getting ready to go on the adventure you're being called. The idea that we see here, if I jump down to verse 5, whether they hear or refuse to hear, for they are a rebellious house. That's our earlier self. That's our Tiamat. It's just another way of holding that. But down here, as we get down here near the bottom, there's a point where he says, but you, mortal, hear what I say to you. Do not be rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I give you. I looked, and a hand was stretched out to me, and a written scroll was in it. He spread it before me. It had writing on the front and on the back, and written on it were the words of lamentation and mourning and woe. I put inner healing process. That's what that is. That's what you're looking for. This is the knowledge you need to turn inward. It's kind of like supernatural aid right here. He said to me, O mortal, eat what is offered to you. Eat this scroll. And go speak to the house of Israel. So you're getting ready to take the knowledge, become it. You're the called person. You're moving back. So what do we have here? So I opened my mouth, and he gave me the scroll to eat. He said to me, mortal, eat the scroll that I give you, and fill your stomach with it. Then I ate it, and in my mouth it was as sweet as honey. Okay, this is a healing process. What do we have there? Eat the scroll. That's a bizarre one, isn't it? You know what that is? Honestly, the way that it. When the Israelites, a bigger story, when in Exodus, when they escape Pharaoh, they escape the fast, and they cross the threshold, they go through the Red Sea, and they're in the desert, in the empty place, and they eat what? Only minimal amounts of manna. So here, that would be like eating the scroll, or here is a new book of law, or this is what you need to become. You need to stop consuming all of that other stuff in life and rewrite the book of your life. You came from where you came from. We have to let that go. You emerge from there. So I get that from that teaching, but also, more importantly in this case, is emphasis on the idea that this is a universal, it exists everywhere in all of the teachings. When people say, you know what, this is the right thing, this is the right thing, this is the right thing, everything else is wrong, then they not only don't understand the universal teaching, but they don't understand their own teaching, because everybody's teaching is framed on that same template. Christians, everything Abrahamic, honestly. Everything Abrahamic. That's what we're looking for. Anyway, I just thought this would be a fun video because I saw that, and honestly, that's the nature of my channel, is finding that common thread and trying to live it and trying to figure out why it's a hard path, but it is. We see that we have to keep at it. We have to keep working at it. Hope the video was fun. I'll see you in the next one.